A caterpillar takes its first bite out of a leaf. Nothing looks unusual. No sound, no movement, nothing a human eye would catch. But inside that leaf, something is happening that scientists didn't believe was possible until just over a decade ago. The plant is listening. Not with ears, obviously. Plants don't have ears, or a brain, or anything resembling a nervous system. For most of the history of biology, that settled the question. Plants respond to touch. They respond to chemicals. But sound? Sound belonged to a different category of life, reserved for creatures with eardrums and neurons to make sense of it. Then, in 2014, researchers at the University of Missouri ran an experiment that quietly broke that assumption. They played the recorded sound of a caterpillar chewing to a group of Arabidopsis plants, a small flowering plant related to mustard and cabbage. No real caterpillar, no touch, no smell, just the sound, played through a tiny device attached to a leaf.
The plants responded. When actual caterpillars showed up afterward, the plants that had heard the chewing sound produced significantly more mustard oil, a compound that makes their leaves harder to eat and harder to digest. The plants that hadn't heard anything didn't ramp up defenses nearly as fast. Here's the detail that turns this from a curiosity into something stranger. The researchers also played wind sounds and insect sounds unrelated to feeding. The plants ignored both. No defensive response, no wasted energy. Somehow, out of every vibration in the environment, they picked out the one specific pattern that meant danger and reacted only to that. Sit with that for a second. This isn't a plant reacting to noise. This is a plant filtering signal from irrelevant noise, the same basic task your own hearing does every day, and firing a response only when the pattern matches a threat. Scientists are careful with the word hearing here, for good reason. Plants have no ear, no brain to interpret a signal, no experience of sound the way we have it. What they have is a network of vibration-sensitive cells that can trigger a chemical chain reaction, something closer to a hyper-specific smoke detector than an ear. But the outcome looks the same. Information arrives as vibration, gets sorted for relevance, and produces a response built for exactly that threat.
And chewing isn't the only vibration plants seem to notice. Some studies suggest plant roots grow toward the sound of running water, even with no moisture gradient to follow chemically. Others are testing whether plants respond differently to specific frequencies altogether. The field is young, and much of it is still contested, but the pattern keeps surfacing. Plants reacting to a vibrational world in ways that look less like accident and more like detection. So picture that caterpillar again, mid-bite, on a leaf that looks like it's doing nothing at all. It was never silent. The moment those jaws touched the surface, a vibration moved through the plant's tissue, and something in that tissue was already waiting for it. We just didn't have the instruments or the imagination to hear it happening. Not until we finally thought to ask a plant to listen back.